Maranatha, welcome to part 107. I'm flipping tables. And this is December the 1st, 2025 by man's calendar. And I was talking in 2006 about the angel that had brought the staff to the mountain. How he had been there the whole week and we didn't even, and he had talked to us all week. He told us all kinds of stories. We thought they were just little delightful stories. A little man that just wanted something to say. The whole time, he was an angel telling us about the things he had been through, things he had actually done. And I was so excited after I got that stuff, and I didn't even know what I was supposed to do with it or nothing, and I didn't know nothing at that time, except for that God was sending it. I did what he told me to do, though, before I left the mountain. I claimed it in Jesus' name. Gave God an oath. See, that's why I have to do these things. Y'all think that you know. You don't know. You don't know nothing about the old ways. Somebody's gonna. Because the whole reason I've been talking about this is somebody getting ready to get an encounter. And not of the third kind from no aliens, neither. Somebody's getting ready to get visited. Maybe you'll know, maybe you won't. I don't know. But you're getting ready to get visited. Either an angel or angels are coming to see you. I don't know who this is going to, but I know it's going to somebody about to get paid to visit. Because God been trying to talk to you, and he decided to do this. Because you asked him for something. And he's going to answer you. He's going to send them to tell you. Now, whether you know they're the angel or not, I don't know. You may not know till after they answer you. You may not know till they're already gone. Like I didn't know in that moment when that angel reached me the staff, but until after he was gone, that he was the one. But I was kind of fried, so with so much going on spiritually inside of me, and everything was just kind of shaking apart, and felt like the world was about to explode, to be honest. And everything was just moving too fast, and I couldn't slow it down. And then finally I started slowing back down. But anyway, we left. After that, we left there, and we come home, and I received the order to go to Zion Mountain and pray all night with the staff. And I told them that we had to go on to the other mountain. And we had to do it because we had taken that oath to the Lord. So we had to go. We didn't have a choice. And Bo was out of vacation time, so he called his boss and he told him that he had to go do something for God. And if they couldn't just let him do this, that he would have to give his resignation and just resign till he seen what God was doing. His boss didn't accept the resignation, and they gave him sick days, some of the other guys, to help cover him. But God did that on purpose so that Bo could see how important he was and how much he was loved at work, because he didn't think anybody really cared about him there. God will show you that you matter to people if you'll give him the chance. But anyway, we went on. We left straight back out, went on to Zion. And when we got there, it was amazing. It was beautiful there. And it was hot. It was really hot there. And which amazed us. But I made them take their winter coats and stuff and some warm clothing when we left out, because that's what God told me to do for that mountain. But the first day we was there, it was hot. It was like 80 degrees. Wasn't like that the next day though. But anyways, tonight while at the jail service, I was praying, and the Lord brought this back to my remembrance as Goop was preaching. He said something and it sparked it. Something had happened while we were out there praying. And I was trying so hard to reach the Lord. And though I went out there and the music had calmed me down, my jitters and stuff hadn't all slowed down yet. And the noise hadn't completely stopped yet. I was calmer than before. And I knew at that point everything was going to be okay. And I thought at that point that was the purpose of the staff. So I was like, everything's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And so I got shot a lot of stuff on that mountain though. And I was running all around there like I was supercharged. And Kitty and Bo said that they couldn't keep up with me, so they just went and sat down and let me go. And God had took a holtz pretty deep when I got there. I was running around and there was angels all over that mountain. I was seeing them and I knew it was them. I knew that they were angels. And I kept trying to tell Kenny and Bo, and they was like, no, those are people. I was was like, no, those are angels. And they kept telling me, no, they're just people. And they're staring at you. Really weird. So, stop that. I said, what am I doing? I'm obeying God, what He's telling me to do. That's why they're staring at me. Because they're angels. They're watching me do what God has told me to do. They're angels. They're keeping an eye on me. They're in charge of me and my safety. They are protecting me. That's why they're watching me. And they was like, no, you got to stop that. You're losing your mind. No, I wasn't. They're still watching me. And they're still protecting me. That's why I'm still here. After all the attacks I've taken. Because God is protecting me. I don't know what God is doing, and I'm not even going to pretend to know what He's doing. But I know He's doing it. But while I was there on that mountain, something happened. It was getting dark. And I was trying to find the right place on the mountain to call out to Jesus. I don't know why I was supposed to do it. I went to do it. And I was trying. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And I kept trying to trumpet for the Lord on that mountain. And these people were everywhere looking at me. And folks said, they think you lost your mind. That's why they're looking at you. And I said, no, they're smiling. They're His angels. And he said, no, they're not. And I tried again. I couldn't get very loud. And I didn't talk to people a lot. And this one woman was standing there smiling at me. Her and another guy was standing there together on the bridge that I was on. And I was trying to, I don't know, it was crazy. I was trying to get God's attention because I wanted Him to save my family from what was coming. From the things I'd seen. And just like that, my family grew all of a sudden exponentially. And it went from just a few to this huge, big thing. God showed me that my family was vast and they were everywhere. And then I felt a bigger panic about trying to get them to safety. I want them to be safe with Jesus in the ark with the Lord, to protect them from the antichrist, actually. so that he couldn't hurt them. Now, all this might sound stupid to you, and that's okay because you don't know what God showed me, but and I can't explain it all, and I can't tell you at this time this stuff, but some of it. While I was on that bridge, it was getting darker. The stars were starting to shine, and it was still so warm. And I did it. I got really loud at one point. Didn't even know what I was supposed to say or anything. And Bo was standing next to me on the bridge. And some of the people started walking away. And Bo said, "We're not supposed to be here. We need to leave." And about that time, I was about to give up and walk away. And I looked over at the mountain ledge. And you could still barely make out. There was just enough daylight to barely make out that there was weeds and bushes and stuff along the ledge. These guys popped up from behind because I tried one last time and I was like, I can't get it. And I turned and I was like, you're right. I just need to go, I guess. And I turned to walk away. And just as I was about to walk away and as I was turning, these guys pop up from behind those bushes and the one shouts to me, "You need to make it louder." And I turned back and I said, "What?" And he walked out from behind the bush and come over onto the bridge where I was at. And Bo got closer to me. And he said, "You need to make it louder." And I looked at him, I said, "I'm trying. Just, it's not working." He said, "You'll figure it out, but you need to make it louder." I said, "I don't know how." He said, "You will, but make it louder." So I was like, okay, how do I do that? It's just a little mouse that nobody had ever heard speak before. This is the loudest I've ever been in my life. I don't know how to be loud. And so I spent the rest of that night praying on the mountain. I was supposed to stay on Zion. I wasn't allowed to leave Zion Mountain. I had to stay on that mountain the whole night. And I thought, it's just one night. I had to stay a whole week at the other mountain. So how hard could this be? It was a lot different. God had me doing different things. I was actually singing in front of all those people the next day in the daylight. Yep, I had lost it, dude. I kid you not, y'all. God sent me out there and I was singing Jerusalem. And Mom and Kenny went and sat down because I was tired. And I just took off by myself, walking around there singing. I wasn't afraid of anything or anybody or nothing at that point. And you know what? I didn't even care about I just wanted to sing and get God's attention because that's what I thought I was supposed to be doing. So I took off and I done it. And I kept feeling like God was about to yank me up into the air any moment. And at that point, I didn't care. I just wanted to go. I just wanted to be with Him. Because I knew that's where I belonged. With every fiber of my being, I knew that's where I belonged. And I knew that Zion was my forever home. That Zion moves. That's what people don't understand. Zion moves with the Spirit of God. That God promised to get it free so that nothing evil could ever stand out of it again. He promised. And I did a lot of crazy things during that time because, like I said, I was still supercharged with the Spirit and fried out of my mind, kind of like I'd never been high in my life, but I didn't care. Like I said, I went through there singing. Big old tour bus was there, and I was just blah blah blah. Yeah, little quiet mouse wasn't quiet at that moment. God will sure do strange things. But anyway, God went back over to where Jenny and Bo was at. Jenny had a splinter, and I had a kit in my pocket. I pull it out to get the splinter out of his finger, and he tells me, though, as I'm standing there trying to dig that splinter out of his finger, trying to get it out, he says, "So people talk to us." And I said, "Really? What did they say?" Because him and Bo had been insisting that whole time we wasn't supposed to be on that mountain, and we wasn't supposed to come there. Of course, that's what they did to me about the first one too, but and about the music and all that. But this one, they were really adamant. They were angry because we were there, and they didn't want to be there, and they wanted to leave and go home right then. Until this happened, and he says, "People talk to us," and he seemed happier. I said, "Really? What'd they say?" And he said, because they were walking around, him and Bo with the two staffs. And I was just running around singing like nothing was happening. Yeah, I guess that's right. I had lost my mind, clearly. Because it was definitely different for me, I'll tell you that. But anyways, I get out there doing that. And when I come back over and Kenny tells me that, I was like, "Really, what they saying about that time I jerked that splinter out of his finger?" He knew I got it. It felt better. And he said, thank you. And I thought he was saying thank you to me for getting a split around his finger. And he said, no, that's what they said. Because I said to him, you're welcome. And he said, no, I wasn't talking to you. He said, that's what they said to us. I said, what? Wait a minute, what? He said, those people that was talking to us, that's what they said to us. I said, what do you mean? What for? And I looked at Bo. I said, what's he talking about? And Bo said, those people that's out there getting on that bus right now came up to us, some of them, and was talking to us when we was walking around with the staffs. And I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, and? And he said, they said to us, thank you for what you're doing. I said, well, did you happen to ask them what it was that you were doing? And he said, no, because we thought you knew what we was doing at that point. I said, great. It's official. We don't none know what we doing. And I started laughing. But I was just joyful to be there serving the Lord and obeying Him. That's all that mattered to me at that point. I don't care how big of a nut I look like or why I was even there. I know I was obeying the Lord, and that's all that matters to me. Because people have not been doing that lately. They haven't been obeying Him. And He gives His Spirit to them that obey Him. People wanted to question my spirit, but I was obeying Him. I still believe in the old ways, and the prophets, and I still believe in a God that talks through the prophets. I still believe in a God who delivers from lying sins and who takes people through the fiery furnace. Because I know He's real. And that great big hand of God, you just can't do nothing with it. You really can't. And I still don't really know why I'm doing these particular videos or why I gotta talk about this. But I know God's got a purpose for it. So, I'm doing it. Let me tell you a little secret. Since I picked up this mantle and took off for Jesus doing this stuff, I've had bones broken. I got thrown 66 feet in the air by something. And my little renegade Jeep. Yeah, that was a fun trip. I didn't even have any mileage racked up, you know. Can't say I ain't never flew before. It wasn't licensed for air flight, but I still got to do it anyway. I landed on the ground with the thud and busted 3 of my tires, destroyed my Jeep. I mean, it was terrible. It was a horrible wreck. And I walked away from it by the grace of God. Doctors were saying I was going to be paralyzed. I wouldn't even let them stitch me up. God did it. God did it. That's what he does, y'all. I walked out of that hospital knowing. They kept saying, if you leave here, you'll be paralyzed. I said, no, I won't, because that's what God does. And then I still ended up in a wheelchair, though. 2022. Whooped pretty good by spirit. That's what you get when you fear. Never walk out on that battlefield and in fear. Because fear cometh with torment. And the Lord will sure let you have some. You gotta trust in Him. I paid for that. I spent a year in the wheelchair. Well, I learned a lot of lessons in that wheelchair. And don't tell me God won't teach you stuff the hard way. He absolutely will. I had ribs broken in the last few years. This is what I'm talking about. You don't know the battles I've gone through the last few years. And God heals me of everything. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. And I don't take pharmacia. Because I trust in the Lord. He'll deliver. Because that's what He does. No, I can't do no signs and wonders for you. I'm not the one who does them. All I could do is tell you what He says. When it happens, it's Him doing it. It ain't me. I'm just thankful to be a part of His plan. Just a little quiet mouse roaring out of Zion that Jesus is coming. Trying to wake up the saints of God before they get fricasseed. Anyways, I'm out of time on this video again. I still didn't get into the book of Luke, but I'm out of time for tonight because I gotta get some rest. I gotta go to work in the morning and I gotta be there earlier than usual. So, see you in the morning. By the grace of God, maybe. If I get a chance to get any more videos up then. If not, I'll see you next time. Love you. Keep Acts 2:38. Acts 19, 1-6 proves it. Be baptized in the name of Jesus for the remission of your sins, y'all. I love you. See you next time. And I hope and pray that you're believing in angels more now. But believe more in Jesus, who sends the angels to us when we need them. Y'all keep wondering why they don't visit you like they did people in the Bible. But they do. You just don't realize who they are. And you don't reverence them because you lost your fear of God. So you don't see them the right way. You don't know them. They're my family. Please don't disrespect them. Because they sure love you. They've been watching after you all this time after all. Anyway, I gotta go. Don't want this to get too long because I want to make sure it goes up